And we're good to go.
All right. Well, here we go. So good morning, everybody. Friday, April 30th. My God, the year is, can you imagine? It's already 4 months of the year gone. The slaughterhouse of failure is not in my destiny. I will persist until I succeed. Og Mandino. So today we're going to talk about the mindset shift that will change your direct sales career. You own a business, not a side hustle. So on this, we've got a little chat about this. I want to start off by saying that this is not a side gig. This is actually a part-time. So a lot of people don't like the work they're in. They hate it. A lot of people want to get out of where they are. A lot of people are just not happy where they are. So that's why, or they're not satisfied, whether it's not enough money or not enough time or whatever it is. So a lot of people actually look for something else to have additional income or a better job or something. But it's very difficult to jump into something unless you're forced to, into something that you're not sure of, you don't know much about. There's always that fear and so on. So a lot of people actually start this business as a part-time business. And this is what it should be, a part-time business, not a side gig. Jim Rohn is actually very, very clear about this aspect of it, where he started off doing something as a sideline, as a part-time thing. And eventually, when that part-time thing equaled what he was making, he still stuck with what he was doing. But it was a pride thing for him to say, well, I'm making X amount, or whatever. I'm managing to make quite a lot of good money on this little side thing I've got going on. He was trying to make it as a fun thing, but it's a part-time business if you start that way. But you got to take it seriously. It's not just something you do now and then sometimes.
Absolutely. How we talk about this business is going to influence what others think about this business, right? And so, most people think it's about courage, vulnerability, putting yourself out there, stepping outside your comfort zone, getting ready to make a sale, developing thick skin, things along those lines. Those are all important aspects and different mindset shifts that we have to go through when we're involved in a business. But the most important is probably how you talk about this business and how you talk about the opportunity. You joined a direct sales company to start a business, not a side hustle. It depends on what your particular needs are, right? You don't talk about it as a side hustle, side gig. There's a bunch of different terminology we can use, but when you talk about it that way, that's how people think about it, right? And then when you think about it that way or talk about it that way, it doesn't have any finite reality, right? So there's, what you get out of it is what you put into it, and the way you think about it is what you're going to get out of it, right? So you don't need to work the direct sales business 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but words matter. Your mindset about your business matters, right? So how you talk about it is going to influence others and what they think about what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are in a particular job of whatever it is. It could be a pharmacist, it could be a baseball player, it could be a pharma rep, medical sales device rep, and so on. And we meet that person, and we are not in that business where they are. But they are doing a part-time business to start with in the PharmaNext business. And then we can equate with that. And we can say, well, wait a minute, I can do that. I mean, I'm not a pharma rep or a medical device sales rep, or I'm not a pharmacist, or I'm not a whatever. But wait a minute, this guy's doing this, and he's doing it as a part, or she's doing it as a part-time work and making money. Well, I can do that. And then you introspect and say, well, do I love what I do? No. Why do I do it? Because it's what happened to come along that suited me at the time 10 years ago. Doesn't mean I still love it. But the way this guy is talking, or this person is talking about his or her part-time job or part-time work, which generates income and which has all the possibilities of no limitations, man, I can do that too. So that is where I think, as you said, Dan, right, I agree with you. Your words matter and how you say them. So, I've got this part-time thing going on, and, I'm going to Greece next month on a vacation paid by my part-time job that I've done. And, I was able to get, the car for my daughter from this part-time job that I'm doing. And then you say, oh my gosh, that's interesting. How do you do that? So it's how we say it that we can attract people to do what we do. People like to follow if they know what to do. That's the biggest problem people have is, I don't know how to do this. I'm not sure what's the next step.
Yeah, so that's where we need to learn to become leaders, and that's why we're all here on this call. When you call it a side hustle, you call it a side gig, that's exactly what it is. It's secondary to your main focus. It's not your main focus. And that's how people are going to look at it. Your family, your friends, your colleagues, in whatever their other business you're involved in. If you talk about it as if though you're only focusing on it a short period of your time, or it's not as important as what your main focus is, then that's how other people are going to think about it, right? It's not as important as your main job. It's not as important as your main focus. So part-time job commands more respect, right? You're talking about it as a part-time job, something that you do part-time, not just as a side hustle or a side gig. And so I think it's important that, how you talk about this, how you convey this message to other people. And so words really do matter. I like this quote from Henry Ford. He says, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Right. And so how you're talking about this, you need to talk about this as something that you can do, right? You can do it as a part-time job. You can do it as a part-time job to make it a full-time job, right? If you think about it, if you think you can't, or if you're saying it's a side hustle or it's a side gig, you're already setting yourself up for potential failure because you're not focusing on it. You're not thinking about it in the right light. So if you think about it as a side hustle, you inadvertently give yourself permission not to take it seriously, right? And once you have that permission, it's much easier to let things slide a little bit, right? This isn't as important as my main focus. I can go do this before I attend to my side hustle or my side gig. You get all these other things done because that's secondary. That's the last thing on your list because it's not something that you're taking seriously.
And also by being able to describe in a way that's that's understandable, somebody would say, "Oh, I'd love to be able to buy whatever it is, a new car or a new lounge suite or whatever it is, but I can't afford it." And there is something that is a defeatist attitude when somebody should say, well, how much more do I need to earn to be able to buy what I want? And how can I do that? In the present job where I am, I've got a ceiling on my salary. I can't make more than what I've got. And even with overtime, I'm killing myself, maybe example. But actually with a part-time job like this guy's got, I might be able to afford to buy what it is that I want. So you change the paradigm from I can't afford something to, wow, how much do I need to make on my part-time job to be able to buy what it is that I want? And there's a segue to inspiring somebody to look at a bigger potential than a capped income. The person doesn't have possibilities of additional income, and he certainly has only got those hours in a day. So if he is judicious about that, then there's a possibility to do this business and do it in a diligent way with some specific goals in mind, because this is all about the same as any business. It's a goal-oriented business where we've got to understand exactly the rules of the game and follow the game and the plan of action.
Yeah, the plan of action in this is more important than just about anything. You know, we have a system in place. If you follow the system, like we talk about, you can alter it to meet your own personality and things along those lines, something that works for you. You know, I have people on my team that have taken the presentation, and they've altered it a little bit so that it flows more for them, right? And so, you know, when you're calling this a side hustle, you've already labeled it nothing more than a hobby, right? It's something that you're doing in your spare time. It's not something that you need to invest in or care for or take part in, but that's completely the opposite of how we should be thinking about it, right? If that's the level of return you'll receive. What you put into it is the level, and how you think about it is the level of return. If you don't invest something, time, money, you'll get nothing out of your business, right? If you're not investing a certain amount of your time or money into a business, you're not going to get anything out of that business. So mindset determines your expectancy. You know, what you expect out of the business is what your mindset tells you that you should expect, and what you're going to get is going to be based on your focus and your commitment to that business. So if you expect your direct sales business to be a business, you need that mindset to start thinking about it and calling it a business, calling it a part-time business, a part-time job, rather than just something that's extraneous to what you're doing on a daily basis.
Yeah, and somebody that is doing this at the beginning needs to have very clear direction. You know, we all need to have direction. We all need to either, of course, we all need to learn, because I was clueless about this, and I'm still not, you know, I'm still needing guidance on a lot of stuff that I do. Obviously, in life, that's what happens. But when we get into something that is uncharted water for us, and we get into a new business, we need to have clear direction. And that's where leadership comes in as well, where we've got to be able to give the information very clearly for that plan of action, for whoever has given us that what's the word for that, who's listened to us about what we're doing. And for me, that's actually an honor that somebody would follow and do the business that I'm doing, or do what I'm doing. It means they respect what I'm saying and what I'm doing. And for me, that's huge. It's a responsibility, because you've now embarked somebody on doing something that they believe in what you're doing. And this now becomes important, because you cannot fail them. You cannot fail these people. The fortunate part of it, we've got this great company that we'll talk in a second, but it's our own responsibility with what we do and how we act and how we comport ourselves with the people that join our team. This is something huge. And in my opinion, we absolutely have to do one step at a time. We have to guide them to each step until at least they get to Ruby. And then that's when the independence and duplication actually really takes off. And the roots of the building are sort of set there.
Yeah, so one of the most interesting aspects of this business for me is figuring it out, right? So I've done a lot of things in my life. I've built kayaks from scratch. I built a motorcycle from scratch. I learned how to do all these different things with my hands, build furniture, you know, and for me, part of the fun of doing things is figuring it out and doing it to the best of my ability, right? And so, you know, one of the things that's really interests me about this business is there's so many different facets to it. You know, there's the personal facet of building a business for yourself. There's the group or team building aspect of it, where you're building a team and providing direction to others, listening to others, finding a mentor in the business and learning from them. You know, they're providing clear direction on how to successfully navigate this business. And then you have the social media aspect of this business. You know, if you're doing the skincare side, I think that's an important part of that side of the business. There's just so many facets to this business. It's fascinating for me to try and figure out how to do that. You know, and everything I've done in my life I've kind of addressed it or gone about it that way. I've tried to figure out, the best way to do it, the most efficient way to do it. And then, when I was in medical device sales, the thing I didn't like about that, I didn't realize this till I got out of it, but was that, I had CEOs of the company, and then we had multiple managers, and everybody had their idea about what that clear action should be, or what the clear direction should be. Right. And you didn't have a defined, kind of direction, because you had 10, 15, 20 different people trying to tell you what the clear direction was. Right. And nobody could agree on it because they all had their own ideas. This business is a lot like that, but when we're running our own team, we're running our own business, we're providing that clear direction, right, for others. And the best leaders have a clear vision of where they want to take their organization, and therefore they're able to mobilize their troops to accomplish impossible goals. And so, we need to provide that clear direction, not only to ourselves, but to others that have joined us in this business, right? And then, and you're only going to be able to do that if you're likable, right? People need to respect you. People need to like your personality. People need to agree with your mentality about how you're going about this business. Even though, there's a system in place, you have to define that for folks in a way that makes sense to them and that's workable for their lifestyle and how they're approaching this business.
Bear in mind that, even on this call, we've got different ages, different sexes, different ethnic groups, different mentalities, different professions. Everybody's different. So it becomes an art and a talent to be able to guide everybody with clarity in one direction. It's like the rowing boats when they have, the rowing competitions. Oxford and Cambridge, for example, they all have to the second. They've got to coordinate their efforts. And there's a guy who's sitting at the front. He's a little guy at the beginning, and I think he's called the Cox. And he's the guy who's actually giving the instructions. He's not a passenger having fun. He's the guy giving instructions to all of these guys who are rowing to get the direction right, to get it all right. So that's what we are. We are sitting on our little rowing boat with our teams, and we're trying to get everybody to row to get to our destination, which is their destination. And it's difficult because our personalities are different. For example, Dan, you just saying you built a kayak and a motorcycle, and if I take my bicycle to pieces, I'll end up with extra parts because I wouldn't know how to put it together again. I mean, I'm that much of a klutz. So the different talents that everybody has. So this is where the art comes in. And, about being likable, you don't have to be a softie and, just be a little, kumbaya sort of guy. If you walk your talk and have integrity, people soon realize that you're genuine. Being likable is not being soft and mellow, rather determined and sure of who you are and what you expect others to be if they follow you on this journey. If I've actually this month, actually last month, I started with a new distributor, a distributor who re-engaged. And I said, these are the rules of the game. This is how we're going to do it. And if you follow what I'm doing, I'll pay attention. If not, you're fired. And he said, what do you mean? I said, well, this is a serious thing. And actually, tomorrow he breaks as a brand rep. And he was re-engaged. He's done nothing for a year. And in the last month, he broke as a brand rep because we had a clear vision of what he was supposed to do. And it's a carrot and a stick thing. It's communication, clarity of thinking, clear goals.
Yeah, part of that, providing that clear direction is understanding the direction from the company as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of the people on these calls probably don't get on the corporate calls or even watch them recorded. But I think it's important that you get on some of these calls. The yearly event that they do this year, it was obviously, or last year it was obviously through the internet, but it's important to get on and see what the direction of the company is, right? Because if you have a team and they don't know what the clear direction of the company is, it's our job to transfer that knowledge to them and let them know where the company is going, what new products are coming out, where the company, what I really like about what the company is doing now with some of these new products is they're bridging the gap between skincare and the nutritional side, right? With this new collagen product that's coming out, Scanner Score certified. That's fantastic. I think that's going to help all of us build this business because we're mostly involved in the nutraceutical side. But I think if you're not doing at least a part of the skincare side, you're doing your business a disservice, right? Because there's a lot of room for growth for that here in the US and abroad. But we need to know where the clear direction of the company is, and we need to transfer that knowledge to people on our team because they're not all going to be, that's part of our job as a leader, right? We need to keep on top of where the company is, where they're going in the future, and then divest that knowledge down to people on our team so that they're aware, and then they can then take it down further to people on their team that they're directly responsible for.
When you're talking about the guidance from the company has has much of the software and videos and stuff that we need, corporate stuff. But then we also have an advantage. We've got something called One Team Global. And that's what One Team Global are parameters for us to work within in any part of the world. So, I listen to One Team Global in Europe, and I listen to what they're doing there, and it's the same as we're doing here. Nathan Ricks, actually, I believe, was the founder of that One Team Global, and that's the umbrella under which we all fall. And there are very clear guidance. There's a very clear guidance for everybody to follow on One Team Global. And it's also a lot of fun because you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to go and, rethink anything. Where is it? What is it? Where's the plan? What is it? How does it work? Oh, okay, I can do that. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, so it's being transparent. It's communicating effectively where the company's headed. It's about the products and the opportunity. Right? We have excellent products. I mean, we were talking about these hats earlier, and Jim Trainer said, look, they put out a quality product. Even the hats are quality product. I love this hat, but I have new skin stuff. I've got a new skin mug on my desk. I've got a new skin, face mask and all these different things. We talked on our call a couple of weeks ago on our team call about, being a product of the products and trying products. I was going through the products that I have here in my office or that we use as a family, and I was almost embarrassed because I had like 45 or 50 products that we use personally in our household. I mean, it's not embarrassed, but most people are probably not even trying any of the, one of the products or none of the products. And so if you're going to take this business seriously, if this is going to be your part-time business, you need to start trying the products, right? Because then you can become a product of the product. One thing that I just recently tried was the polishing bar, and now like Kate loves it. I like it. It doesn't dry out my skin. It's just a phenomenal product. Something as simple as a soap. It's not even actually a soap, but something as a cleansing bar. It's been a joy to use it. It doesn't dry out my skin, and so it's all about trying these products and then talking about the opportunity. I had a call with a woman from the Philippines yesterday. We didn't even talk about the opportunity. We talked about the products. She wanted to know about the products, right? So it can be about the products or it can be about the opportunity. And, you need to take that conversation where it goes. I'm sure we'll have that conversation about the opportunity. But she wasn't really that interested in that. She's like, is this something that I can get behind? Are these products good? She had never heard of Nu Skin before. Are these products good? Is this something that I can bring to my network of people? And so, we need to start thinking about this as a business. If you're not, we need to start communicating this as a business. It's our part-time business or our full-time business. For me, this is my full-time business. This is all I'm engaged in on a daily and a weekly basis. As much time as I can possibly spend thinking about it, participating in it, and growing the business.
I agree, and I think just as a time up, I was just thinking about. I feel 10 feet tall when I talk about what we have. And that gives me an attitude and swagger, because I'm proud of our company. I'm proud of our products. I'm proud of our science. I'm proud of everything that the company is doing. It's never let me down. And that, I think, is something that rubs off when we talk to other people, because we are sure of what we have. So Dan, unless you got something,
one more thing. In the beginning, we were talking about the Utah opening back up for the healthcare symposiums, July 29th to 31st. So I want to make everybody aware of that if you're not aware. But along those lines, Lawrence, one of the things that makes me proud about this company is when I go to that event and you see people have that aha moment.
Yeah.
Right. When they have that aha moment, because they come and they've got their preconceived notions about what this company is, and they're probably, some people are probably even coming to validate that they think this is the products aren't good, or that the science isn't good, in their mind. And then they have that aha moment where they're like, oh my gosh, this is for real. They do have 85 scientists. This $150 million innovation center does exist. It's not just something they have a picture of and talk about. Oh my gosh, they do have this humongous lab with these multi-million-dollar machines. This is for real. And when you see that, I mean, it's a game changer. It's a game changer.
Actually, you're right. I've actually had somebody a couple of times that people have come there to kind of prove me wrong. Say, no, I don't believe any of this stuff. I'm just going to go and check it I don't believe it. And by the time they finish, then they like religious converts. They become fanatic, raving fans. So thanks, Dan. Anybody got anything they want to add or subtract or anything they might?
Yeah.
Mark? Yes, please.
Can I add something? One of the ways to boost your turnover, the sales in your group, is to do what we call redirection of spending. And what it basically means is that if people are buying toothpaste, they're buying soap, they're buying beauty products, or their wives are, in my case, anyway, and why not have them buy them from our own store, so to speak, buy them from your own business and have your customers try these things. One of the purposes of the ADR program, with the points that you accumulate, is so that you can try these other things for free, paying only the shipping. And as you accumulate those points, obviously be aware of that. Try things you haven't tried before. There are some amazing products there. I haven't seen one product in our catalog. Actually, there's only one product in our catalog that I haven't particularly cared for, but not because it wasn't great. I just didn't particularly like it. But all of the others, I absolutely think are terrific. But as we look at that whole issue, remember that today is the last day when you can lock in the ADRs at the higher rebate rate, because after today, it goes to the Enjoy program. When it goes to the Enjoy program, it's much less worthwhile. So look into that, figure it out. If you don't have an ADR today, get one today, because then you're locking in the 20% for the first year and the 30% for years after that. And that's compelling. That's important.
Martin, I was just thinking, thank you for that. That's very valuable, especially this Enjoy and what you just said. I was just thinking that probably the only product you didn't like is this lipstick.
No, but my wife did. Good observation, actually. Thank you. But it didn't come off on the wine glass, and that was the important.
That's good.
Great.
All right. Thank you. Anybody else got anything? That's valuable what you said there, Martin, about this ADR. Today is the last day.
Lock it in today.
Good. Thanks. Good advice.
You'll be happy you did.
Good advice.
All right, everybody. We're going to wrap it up then. Thank you very much for joining us today, and we'll see everybody next Friday.
Thank you, guys. Have a good weekend.
Have a great
Thanks,
weekend.
gentlemen. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Lawrence.